Happy Thursday, everyone. It is the Animal Experience. This is episode 16. Wow, that's a lot. And I am thrilled to be here with you. I'm thrilled to be doing this for you. I'm loving the experience of the animal experience. And I hope you are too. And I want to thank everybody for joining, for watching the videos, both here on YouTube, on Facebook, on listening to the podcasts on iTunes and Google Play. Hi, everyone. How you doing? It's good to see you. Listening to the podcasts on iTunes and Google Play. I appreciate that. And carrying the animal experience on to others and sharing the videos. It is all very much appreciated. And I hope you will, you're enjoying them, because I'm enjoying doing them and bringing you the messages that the animals have for you. What I wanted to talk about this week. So this is going to be a hard one. It's going to be a hard one. It's going to be emotional, but it was something that, a question that somebody brought to me, and they asked me to find out from the animals, or to talk about, because I've already learned about this from the animals, about caregiving, how the animals see caregiving and euthanasia. And so a little bit, for those of you who have never watched the Animal Experience before, a little bit about what this is all about. TAE, the Animal Experience, or what I call the Animal Experience, is just my experiences, that the wisdoms that I've learned from the animals over the years. I've talked to them on a huge array of subjects, and they are more than happy to talk to them with us, talk about it with us. So the Animal Experience is about that. It's about what the animals, how the animals see life, how they experience life, from the wild animals to the domesticated animals. It's all about them. It's giving their voices, their thoughts, their wisdoms, their thinking a voice. And I am happy to be doing that for them. And I am happy to be an animal communicator, which is what I do professionally. I'm also a seer. I'm a psychic. I'm a medium. I have a huge array of different talents that I do, that I was blessed with by divine, and that is what I am doing. I am being one of their voices. An animal communicator is supposed to be the voice of the animals. That's what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to put our stank on it. We're just really supposed to be a channel for them. We're supposed to be a pipe from which their voices can be heard. And I'm happy to do that and be that for all of them, as many of them as I can be. Anyway, so let's get to it. This is episode 16, Caregiving and Euthanasia. So the first thing that I want to talk about, and I'm going to be looking at my notes every once in a while, so that's why I'm looking away every so often, so bear with me. And again, hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining. It is much appreciated. So caregiving, how do domesticated animals and how do wild animals see caregiving? Because it is a totally different viewpoint. So domesticated animals, they understand, they get it. They understand that as their person, it's our responsibility to take care of them. They understand that. And they see their role as an animal companion. Their responsibility is to be a companion to us. But until they grow thumbs and can open up the can of cat food and dog food by themselves, And it's not just us feeding them. They, of course, understand it's about care. It's brushing, it's feeding, it's watering, it's loving, it's appreciating, it's, it's not just, opening up the can or the bag of cat food. So they understand, and they understand it's our responsibility to take care of them. They understand and appreciate that fact, and a lot of them, many of them, the majority of them do not take that for granted. They understand. They don't just say, well, feed me. Even though, sometimes we put funny photographs on Facebook about the animals just, acting like lord and ladies of the manor, but they understand that just as easily as they manifested somebody who was good in their life, they could have manifested somebody who was not good in their life. So they really don't take that for granted. They understand that and appreciate what we're doing for them. Now, wild animals, those in captivity, I'm not talking about wild animals that are not in captivity because they don't know anything about caregiving. They don't see it that way. So animals that are in captivity, in zoos, animals that are wild, that are in refuges, that are in, safari parks, things like that there. So animals that are in captivity, they have to be taught that they can trust and rely on people. See, a wild animal is a very, very independent being. They have to be. They rely on their pack. They rely on their parents to a certain extent. But after that, they know that they are a single entity, and it is really and truly, if they don't provide and they don't survive, they're not good to the pack, and they don't see themselves as an important part of the pack life or the group activity life. So if they're not contributing, they don't see themselves as something that's really hugely important. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, just so that you know, I'm going to take all of your questions, I'm going to take all your comments and read them at the end because they're fun, and you guys usually have some really great questions. So if you feel like typing them out, type them out while I'm talking, and then I will get to them at the end. So wild animals don't really have, that are in captivity, even those that are bred and born in captivity, their wild side outdoes their domesticated side. That is always a wild animal. They're always a wild animal at heart. I don't care how cutesy wootsy they act. Okay, a bear in captivity is still a wild animal. A monkey in captivity is still a wild animal. They have their wild side. No matter how cutesy wootsy, you can put a suit on them, they're still going to be a wild animal. Okay. So they have to be taught. They have to understand that they can trust us, that the people who are, to a certain extent, in these places are there to take care of them, and understand. They have to learn this. Domesticated animals, they're kind of bred to be our animal companions. Okay, so there isn't much of a learning curve. They're pretty much born understanding that and getting it, and looking to us because, they don't have any other choice. They can forage for themselves. Absolutely. We've seen animals on the street forage for themselves, but that is not the same as being taken care of. So do they trust that we can make the right choices? That's a good one. So do animals trust that we can make the right choices? Here again, I'm going to separate out. The wild animals are out, okay, because a lot of them don't trust humans, and they shouldn't. So the wild animals that are in the wild are out. I'm going to be talking about the domesticated animals primarily, as well as the ones in captivity. That's true too. So yes, they do. Do they trust? Yes, they do. They trust. They know what's in our hearts. They see what's in our hearts. The animals, I've talked about this before in another episode about animals, how do animals communicate? They're telepathic. That means they read your mind, folks. Not when you're closed off and not when you don't want them to. But if you're open to it, they read your mind. They know what's in your mind, what's in your heart. Okay? So they can see inside that. They can read our thoughts. Of course, telepathy, like I said before. They also know who we are. You understand? They know who you are. They know you. You know, they know that you're coming from a place of loving actions. They understand that as their people, you couldn't and wouldn't do anything that wasn't a loving act. Look, I'm not saying that we don't get angry at our animals sometimes. We do. You know, I mean, they can be a little frustrating. God love them, okay? But we're in a relationship, and not any relationship is perfect, okay? My cat Tau, I love him, but he's an orange ginger, and that means that he can be really strong-willed when he wants. He's a total id cat. He wants what he wants when he wants it, no matter if it's at 3 o'clock in the morning or at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And 3 o'clock in the morning, Mama's not always so sweet and kind, okay? Mama gets a little frustrated. I get up, I grumble, even sometimes I yell at him, depending on how sleep deprived I am. You know, if it's been going on night after night after night. And sometimes it does, especially in the summertime, when he wants to go out at 3 o'clock in the morning. I love you, Tao, but my God, you could kill me sometimes. So, you know, but they always know that you're primarily, and your prime purpose and your prime thought is that you love them, even though they're driving you batshit crazy. Okay? So, what did I want to say? So, sorry, I lost my train of thought. So, love made me lose my train of thought. So, even if we make a mistake that hurts them, all right? And there was one time I hurt my cat PC, and she was my total hard cat. And it was a total mistake, okay? I closed the door on her tail. It was too soon, and it hurt her tail, okay? And, you know, I was flinching, and I was feeling bad, and I was crying, and I was a freaking hot mess, all right? But PC knew that, my cat PC, she knew that I was coming from a place of love. So she wasn't judging. She wasn't angry. Yeah, she was angry because it hurt. But she wasn't thinking that I was this evil person. Okay? So we make mistakes. And even though that we make mistakes, they know that our heart is filled with love. All right? And not malice, not hate. They also know that each choice we usually make is for their best and highest good. And that that is constantly on our mind. You know, they also know that, sorry, my notes just blinked out on me. Sorry. They know that each choice we make is for their best good, so that is constantly on their mind. And the reason that's constantly on their mind is that's how they experience, or another way that they experience, Christ-like love and trust. They trust in us. They know that we're coming from a place of good. They know that we're coming from a place of love. All right. So that's how they see caregiving. All right. And that's how they also see how, you know, how we're going to make the right choices for them. So let's get to the tough topic, euthanasia. Now, how do they see this? I posted, or I'm going to post after this show is over with. I'm going to post a post I did on my website, and it was about an experience I had when I had to help my cat PC transition. And it was an incredibly hard thing. And I talked about PC before in other episodes, but she was my heart cat. I loved her. She was extraordinary. She was otherworldly. and she was my best cat friend, and I loved her dearly. And Sharon says we lost Champ this morning at 1:30 a.m. Oh no. Oh no. I'm so sorry, honey. So when PC transitioned, she taught me a really important lesson. And the lesson was no regrets. And what happens when we regret is we are putting our focus on the end of life and not the whole life. She didn't want me to have any regrets about anything because she was afraid that was just going to be me focusing on the last few days of her life when I should be focusing on the whole picture. Okay? So I also want to talk about the fact that in episode 3, I talked about animals and how they see death and how they view transitioning, or what I call transitioning. So if you haven't watched that, you should, because it's a really important message. So animals see death in such a way that they see it as a change, a transition. They don't see it as an ending. They see it actually as a rebirth, as a beginning, as a doorway to other things. They see the bigger picture. So the majority of animals view euthanasia as a necessary, loving part. Excuse me, sorry, my phone's talking to me. The majority of animals see euthanasia as a necessary and loving part of the relationship with us. Okay, they understand that it is a loving act. They see it as an act of kindness, not malice. They see it as the ultimate act of love. Think about it. If we could transition humans, and we do, but it's not legal. But if we were able to transition by those that loved us the most, that would be something. And I'm not saying it's for everybody, but it would be surrounded by love. It would be the ultimate act of love because they don't want to see us suffer. And the animals don't want to see us suffer either, and we don't want to see them suffer. So it's an act of real love and compassion. And if we could do that, I think we would understand euthanasia a little bit more. So that's my opinion on that. Many of these animals that are not, however, how do the ones that are not in loving homes or in kill shelters see it? Okay. The majority of them see it as a release, a chance to come back again in a loving environment, should they choose to come back as a person or an animal, it doesn't matter. And they see the end game, they see the bigger picture, so to speak. The ones that are in now those are domesticated animals. Those are ones that are in kill shelters, in not so loving homes and things like that there. Now the ones that are in the wild animals in captivity, they're interesting, okay, because they see that as more they see it as more of a chance to be free, a chance to come back and be free in a free environment, and not in captivity. They see the bigger pictures. They see that they're like, okay, well, this is good. This ends. Then I get out of here. I get out of prison, and I can come back as a wild animal someplace else, hopefully not in captivity. So they see it, they only focus on the end game. They don't focus on the act, because wild animals don't really, again, like I said before, wild animals have this inane kind of like deep kind of like instinct where they know that they are supposed to pass on their own, or they're supposed to pass by one of their pack or one of their tribe or one of their herd or by another wild animal. So they don't really see it as, they don't really bring it into the picture. But when they're in captivity, they say to themselves, okay, I'm not focusing on the loving act, I'm focusing more on the end game and what this means and how I can come back from this. Wild animals, so they see it more as an act for the domesticated animals, less of an act for them. So the one question that I get asked a huge amount of time as an animal communicator is, did I do the right thing euthanizing my animal? Was it the right time? So I want to answer that question, okay? And this is for the majority of the animals that I've spoken with. I got to say probably it's in the 90s. I don't think, and probably, I want to say probably 100%, but, you know, who knows, maybe not. But I'm pretty sure it's darn close. So a huge amount of the animals that I've spoken to, okay, say this, okay, they trust, and they say to us, trust in this. If it wasn't the right time, the thought of doing it wouldn't have occurred. See, think of it like this. The last thing you want to do, really, is to say goodbye. The last thing you want to do is say goodbye. You understand, especially if an animal is suffering, yes, you know, I don't want him suffering, but I don't really want to say goodbye to the physical form. It hurts too much. So why would you think you would want to rush that? I mean, clearing out all the other mental... Look, you're going through enough mental stuff at this time of your life, okay, with your animals. You're going through enough, all right, mental stuff. So just getting it to the simple, keeping it simple, sweetheart, or kiss, is the most important thing that you can do, because you just get to the simplicity of this whole thing. Not that the act is simple, but you got to keep it as simple as you possibly can. All right? Why would you think that you would rush that and that the timing was off? In fact, at that moment, you don't understand. At that moment, or close to that moment, you are so connected to that animal. You are so connected to divine. You are so connected to spirit and God that it's probably a really foreign feeling to you, to a lot of you, unless you're actively connecting to divine. Then you know that you are. You know the signs, and you know you're hearing your animal. But you're really in that pure act of contemplating the transitioning and the euthanizing of that animal. You really are really super connected to them and to divine. And it's a foreign feeling, but you are connected to them, you know, and you're not. And so what happens is that you start thinking that the foreign feeling is the wrong feeling when it's really the right feeling, if you get what I'm saying. If you're not used to something, you start to think that that's not the right thing, and the way that you usually think and the way that you got your squirrel mind going becomes the chaos becomes the norm, if you understand what I mean. So you start to think that you start not to trust in that foreign feeling when it's really the right feeling that you need to hear and you need to listen to, and trust that you're very, 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 very connected and you're getting what you are getting, okay? So it's just really a matter of the logical mind that's coming in, and it whispers to you as you're going through this thinking of the foreign feeling as being the wrong feeling, then the logical mind comes in and it whispers to you, you're doing something wrong. It's not the right time. It's not right. You think this is really the right time? Things like that there. And so you're going through a lot of mental churning, and that's why it's really important, as much as you possibly can, to trust in the simplicity of, if it wasn't the right time, it wouldn't be happening, or the thought wouldn't be occurring to you. Because any other time the thought of euthanasia, you're like, oh, no, I'm not thinking about that. It pops right back out of your mind. But this is lingering a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit longer, a little bit longer. And if you can clear out the clutter of the mind and understand that this, and trust in what I was saying before, it'll give you a lot more peace. So it's your heart. It's your heart that's telling you this stuff. It's in your heart that's telling you this stuff. It's your heart that's telling you, even though it's breaking, your heart is what's telling you it is time. And it is time to step up. And it is time, to, balls to the wall. This is it. This is what I've been dreading, but it's in my heart, it's in my mind, and it feels like my heart is breaking, but I'm still going to step up. That's being a true, animal person. That's being a true animal's person. I don't like the word owner. I hate that word. I don't think you can own anything. I mean, unless it's a TV and, material stuff. But animals, a living being, you cannot own. So I don't like the word owner. You're the animal's person. Trust in yourself. Trust in divine, especially divine timing. In the loving act that euthanasia is bringing into your life as you help your animal across the bridge and back to non-physical. And as PC said, no regrets. No regrets. It lessens what that animal's life brought into yours. So that is what I wanted to share with you on caregiving and euthanasia. I hope that helped. I hope that answered your questions. I hope that gives you some peace. And I will be posting PC's post to my Facebook page after the show is done, because I think it's an important thing to share. And I wrote it, she transitioned in 2007, 10 years, and still feels like almost like yesterday. And still miss her, pieces and bits. But yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take your questions and your comments if you have any. Let me just go to that and we will see. Again, Sharon, I want to say I'm really, really sorry about Champ. Okay, so what do we have here? Leslie Camp says, well, my Charlie is the lord of our household. Yes, okay. I'm not, I get it, okay? I get it. But they don't think like we're there to just serve them and nothing else. They appreciate what we bring into their lives. Just so you know. Hey, I do it for Tau all the time. Okay, he's he is. He's the little prince with the pushy attitude, but he also appreciates me. I know he does. So, Sharon says, that is exactly what happened at the emergency room last night in the morning. I was at the front desk and my boyfriend came out front and said, Champ, let him know it was time. Trust in that. because that's the last thing you want to do as someone with so much heart and so much love for these animals. Last thing I want to do. Okay? So if it's occurring in my mind and it's not getting pushed out, I have to trust that that's me really super connected to my animal. Let's see, anyone else? A great perspective. Thank you, says Pamela. You are welcome. Sharon says thank you. It so much. It helped, and it can't be a coincidence that this is the topic. Thank you, Sharon. No, there are no coincidences. It's just all divine timing. So I think, something. I think maybe it was Champ also coming through here a little bit. I hope. I hope I'm sure. I mean, I'm trying to be their voice, so I'm sure Champ was coming through, at this time. So Pamela says, as a vet, oh, right. Sorry. Pamela's an awesome vet. And just FYI, I shared this last week. What she's doing is a miraculous thing. And I'm going to post that link again, but you should definitely go to her website and support what she does, because vets are on the front lines and they're supposed to be stoic and they're supposed to be, they have this rep for being cold and unfeeling, but not all of them, but they can't, they're like doctors. You don't want a doctor flipping out on you. Oh my God, I'm going into surgery, So they swallow a lot of stuff. And because of that, they have a lot of issues. I mean, suicide rates and depression and things like that there. And what she's trying to do is she's trying to help vets, not veterans, but, veterinarians. What she's trying to do is she's trying to help veterinarians get the help that they need through finding their spiritual selves, through connecting through to divine and not being cut off from divine. So this is huge. She can do a lot of good. So I will post her website on my Facebook page. You should definitely check her out, support what she does, because it's really incredible. So Pamela says, as a vet, I have to come to grips with this. Trust in your heart and divine timing. It's not, I was a vet tech for about 5 years, okay, until I decided it wasn't the kind of healing I needed to do, and I wasn't put on this earth to do, and it became the opposite of what I wanted to do. So, as a vet tech, I had to do the hard stuff. I had to do euthanasias on animals that weren't even born. That there was one cat that, she was a street cat, she was spayed, and they discovered that she was pregnant and she didn't look pregnant. So, I mean, they had already taken the uterus out. What are you going to do? You have to euthanize those kittens. And that killed me. I had to do that. But I just sent them love as I did it. It still upsets me. No regrets, no regrets, no regrets. It still gets me that they didn't even get a chance to live a life, and I took that life. But I just sent them love. I sent them appreciation. I sent them compassion. I'll never forget that as long as I live, because it showed me, really and truly what euthanasia, when yielded wrong, can do. But I was yielding it right, but if I had been coming at that in not a good way, if I had been coming at that as a chore and not a responsibility, I would have been doing those 4 little kittens a disservice. I wouldn't have been coming from a place of compassion. So, it was hard, and it still gets me to this day. I mean, it still rips my heart out, but I also know that, I counteracted that. And I knew those animals felt me. I knew they felt my heart. They knew that I was doing this not as to get rid of a problem, but to help them not to suffer. anymore. So they feel our hearts. They know our hearts. Excuse me. Sorry. Kate says, I shared one of your posts about euthanasia with my friends earlier in the year when she had to help her cat cross, and later her dog, and I'm sharing this video with her. Thank you for that. You are right. We love our animals, and we need to trust ourselves so much. So much easier said than done. I dread the days when we have to make that decision, but it isn't about us. It's about our beloved babies, and maybe they will revisit us. Amen. Amen. Absolutely. Way to go, Kate. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing the message. Thank you for sharing your the video. I appreciate it. I really do. Now I'm a hot mess on Facebook. Super. Okay. Oh, I swear to God, one of these days I'm going to do a funny episode and just laugh instead of cry. End up crying. I don't know how many episodes I've ended up crying on. So, but that's the way it goes. So, yes, Pamela says, thank you for the support. You're welcome. What you're doing is incredibly important. What you're doing is mind-blowing to me, and I'm really, really super proud of you, and anything I can do, seriously, to support what you do, Pamela, you should. Friend Pamela, like her last name is Dasko, so it's Datsko. I will post her website again. She's amazing. What she's doing is amazing, so support her, absolutely, and what she does. And friend her and like her page and all this other kind of good stuff. So I don't think I have anyone else's, unless anybody else has got another question or a comment. I am going to say it has been an absolute honor, pleasure doing this episode and bringing this episode to you. I am happy that I was able to do it on a day when one of you had to help your animal transition, and through that act of divine timing and divine love. And thanks, Sharon. Sharon says I'm the greatest. Right back at you. All right. So I'm glad that I was able to do this for you. I'm glad that I was able to bring you this episode, and just so that you know, the Animal Experience, or TAE, can be now found on iTunes and Google Play Store as podcasts. You can view it on YouTube. I have the link in this post, and I will put that link in the comment section. These links in the comment section at the end of the video. You can also, the TAE now has its own Facebook page where you can view and share the videos much more easier. Okay, I still, of course, do the live on my private page, but I just wanted a place to just put all the videos that looks really nice and professional. If you want to have a session or a reading with me, you can go to my website, www.coryellekramer.com. And also, I'm running a special. This is my birthday month. I'm a Sagittarius. This is my birthday month. So I'm going to have my birthday next week. So for the entire month of December, I am doing a special. 80 minutes for $80. So that's an hour and 20 minutes with yours truly. Now you can do a full animal communication session if you want. You can split it up between you and your animal, and I could do a reading for you and a session for your animal. Go for it. You can give it as a gift to your friends, and they can use it whenever they want. I think I'm going to do it for usually, people will use a session within 90 days. Longer than that, they have a tendency to forget about it. So I'm keeping it to 90 days. They have 3 months to use that time, or you have 3 months to use that time. You purchase it, and you can use it whenever you want in those 3 months. So take advantage of it, because I'm going to be going away at the end of this month. So I, again, want to say thank you to everybody for joining. Thank you for everybody for listening on the podcasts. Thank you, everybody, for sharing. Love to you. Love to your animals, both here and those in spirit. And I will see you next week